Hello and welcome to Heavy Metal Rex. My name is Wace, and today I'm going to be talking to you about this 2025 WRX TS. Now, you guys have seen me talk a little bit about this particular car in its different functions, whether it's the TR, the TS, or even the Series Yellow that we have here at SubiFest that I was showcasing this whole last year. Now, it's a hard pill to swallow because this car is a lot more expensive than the base WRX was, but there are reasons why you might still be interested in a TS over a used TR, which I still do believe probably is the better value going forward, especially if we don't get anything really interesting here in 2026 right now. Now, the WRX TS is the highest trim of all the WRXs, above even, I think, the GT, because this actually still comes with a manual. But you have other really nice things like 6-piston Brembos. You have the STI-tuned suspension with electronic E-dampers, which something we're gonna have to talk about here in a little bit. You get a digital gauge cluster, which, for better or worse, it is what it is, and the Recaros, which I think are probably one of the best parts about it. Now, compared to the TR, you still get the retuned steering, and you get the updated rear frame, the stiffness that they added in 2024 models in general. So let's take a look at some of these features individually. Now, the big draw for the WRX TS and the WRX TR are the 6-piston Brembos and the 2-pistons Brembos in the back. Now, you get upgraded calipers, you get upgraded rotors drilled. I do not remember the exact size of them, but obviously they're much, much larger because you also have a 19-inch wheel and Bridgestone Potenza S007s. Now, this particular tire, if I remember correctly, was on the S209, and apparently a few different Ferraris also run this model. Now, I'm not saying it's this exact tire, but if you've ever been to SubiFest and seen Scott Speed do a ride-along with people, he actually takes a completely bone stock WRX TS with these exact tires and does some remarkable stuff with it. Now, to be fair, that is Scott, and he is a real race driver, and we are not. But if it's something that he can just smoke other cars with, for the most part, for us, it's good enough. Now, the WRX TR comes with these as well, but no other trim, not even the GT, comes with Brembos. Now, there are other options if you do end up getting a base, or if you have an older car. If you upgrade, it is a pretty costly thing to get this particular Brembo set. Now, you can spend a little bit less money, but it's nice to be able to have it straight from the car. A pretty common upgrade that people do on their WRXs is actually buying the TR, or now in this case, the TS knuckle, and then sourcing their parts. But to have everything from the factory just saves you a lot of time, a lot of hassle, and probably some money in the long run as well. Under the hood of the WRX TS is exactly the same. You have the same power, nothing has really changed. Now, what is different is cars that have the 6-piston do have a bigger brake cylinder and a bigger brake reservoir. That's really about it. Everything else is exactly the same. Now, there's one part, but it's specific for modders. If you are changing your J-pipe, there is an extra bracket down there that kind of gets in the way of being able to pull the stock J-pipe out. Ask Tanner at Smedia exactly what that feels like. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but the 22, there's a line there that was routed a little bit differently that made it a little bit easier. Just something to keep in mind if you are going to be modding this car. Now, another really awesome thing about picking up a TS or a TR in that matter is you get these amazing Recaro seats. Now, I know I have complained about the seats in my premium for now 3 years. Even the limited, which are not Recaros, are actually very nice, but the really nice thing about this is the side bolstering, and the bolstering for to the sides of your legs is a lot more solid. Now, for some people who have broader shoulders, this can be an issue, or if you have broader hips, this can be an issue. It might be a little uncomfortable. And I've also noticed that if you have wider shoulders, these top bolsters kind of make your shoulder blades come together, which on a daily basis could be tiresome. But if you're taking this car out to a track, or let's say even if you're just doing autocross, that extra bolstering is going to be really nice in keeping you from sliding left and right. I know that's a big problem with the premium that I have right now, that I do feel like I have to brace my leg up against the door to keep myself from sliding too much. Or some people do the weirdo stuff where they pull the they pull the seat belt and they bring the seat as far up so it's nice and tight. But having these Recaros is super comfortable. You also get lumbar support and 10-way electronics, so it is a nice feature. I know some people don't really care for that, but until you have it, you don't know how great it really is. Because I've sat in a few limiteds and a few TRs and TSs now, and not having in my premium, actually, to me, it is kind of a big deal. Now, this particular WRX does actually have the sport grille as an option. That's not how the TS comes standard. But what does come standard with the TS is you have the crystal silica black mirror caps, The shark fin is crystal silica black, and you have a crystal silica black lid liner. And then of course you got the WRX TS badge on the side. A couple of other things about this that is really nice is I like the black and blue. I do wish that they put the Japanese carbon fiber swan neck on this like they did on the S210, but overall this package is pretty good for what you are getting in a TS. Of course you can get for the most part in the limited, but if you consider the price of Brembos, let's say you just decide to go get 6-piston Brembos from Subaru, it's like about $6,000. So for this car to be about I think it's like 46 is what you would normally get for. So if you are getting a limited right now for 40, that's kind of where that extra cost is going, minus the digital dash, because the limited does not come with a digital dash or the electronic dampers, which we can't really drive this a whole lot today, but I do have to take this car out to get gas. So at least we can have a discussion about what that looks like. Now what I'm gonna do is we're actually gonna sit down. I gotta move this into a shaded area so we can talk about the dash and the electronic dampers, which are very similar to what the WRX GT is. So now we're in the car and we're actually looking at that. So this is the digital dash. It's actually, if you've went and test driven any new Subaru, let's say a Forester hybrid, or I think even Crosstrek hybrid now comes with this digital dash. It's a pretty cool dash. There's a lot of information present. You have all your eyesight stuff down here, your modes, and more eyesight stuff here. You have driver monitoring system in there, which again, for a lot of WRX owners, these are just creature comforts. It's not things you would actually use, but what's important to us is right here in the mode select. So if we look here, you have different things that you can change, much like the WRX GT, where you can change. Let me switch it to individual so you can actually see the different options. Now, power unit, do not be confused by this. This is the same thing as the intelligent versus sport mode. So it'll change your throttle mapping, specifically just how quickly the car responds to your right foot. Nothing else is really changing. Now, some reports are saying something that it does allow, because we have an electronic wastegate, it does allow sharper turbo response. I don't know how true that actually is without somebody from Subaru engineering actually coming and confirming that. Steering is exactly the same as the GT, which does stiffen up the steering a little bit because this is a dual pinion electronic steering. This, when you go into sport mode, it does actually feel a little bit better. Now, it does not feel like a hydraulic steering from an STI. I want to be very clear about that because that is just not what's happening here, but it feels better. You do have the suspension change here as well. I actually tested this in Chris's car way back when I went to 6-Star Motorsport back in Chicago, where you can feel a little bit of change. This, you won't feel this on a daily basis. Some people say they do, but I'd say you would probably feel this on the track more, going from comfort to sport. Even sport on that GT that I drove actually felt really comfortable on the road. Now, this is the part that confused me the most with the eyesight, having eco, comfort, standard, dynamic. Really, all this is it is affecting the adaptive cruise control and how quickly the car gets back up to speed, and that is it. The actual eyesight stuff is still something that you can come over here and mess around with. Now, for the most part, you can turn everything off if you want to, but the car, once you put it into track mode, the car kind of knows you are doing stuff. Bucky actually experimented with this when the TR first came out, which was the first car to have eyesight system. The eyesight system did not keep them from driving around the autocross track at all. However, if you want to, you can come in here and turn off all of these things. Actually, if you guys remember, he tested the pre-collision braking by driving head on in front of everybody into a barrier, and the car did stop, which was a little scary because imagine what happened if it didn't. But so these are the settings that are displayed in the car. There's a couple of other things that you can actually change. If you've never been in one of these cars that have these digital dashes, you can actually change what the dash changes, which is again a great quality of life thing. There's a lot of things in this car that just make it more comfortable to live with. This is probably one of them. There's not a whole lot of places I can go, and again, we can't really go joyride in this car because this has to go to a car show. But what I've done here is, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go in a circle around some of these curbs and see what the steering wheel actually feels like and see what the suspension feels like. So right now, I'm actually going to put everything on comfort. So the steering is on comfort and the suspension is on comfort. And it doesn't, yeah, you can kind of feel a little bit of roll in it. So if I just go around this, yeah, I feel like, it feels a lot like my stock suspension on my WRX. So now if I switch this over to normal, and I go around it, we'll just do the same thing. I'm going to make the same left turn. I don't want to change the way that I am driving. It kind of feels, again, it feels very similar. The same, I'd say that was about the same. Yeah. What do you think? That was the exact same amount of roll. I didn't really feel any difference with it. And I know, again, the thing is, this is not the most scientific way to test this. I would love to take this out to an autocross one day. If somebody's actually going to autocross this year, Misfits Autocross or SCCA, and you have a WRX TS, please let me know. I'd love to see what this car feels like. So now if I switch this over to sport steering and sport suspension, I'm going to do the same turn, and I'll probably do a few more. So now the feel does, the steering wheel does feel a lot better. Okay, that felt different. Yeah. But I don't think it was like that much compared to, these are not coilovers, but you do feel a little bit of a difference. Yeah, you can feel a little bit, like if you're taking a turn a little bit on the harsher side, you can see. So I'm gonna do that same one. I'm gonna do that now in comfort. I'll leave the steering wheel in sport, but I want to do the suspension comfort. I want to do the same thing. You actually will feel that. So I'm gonna come back around over here, just gonna make a turn. And just this is the first gear, not a fast turn. A little bit more roll, just like a little bit. But I don't really expect them to turn this into like a night and day difference. At least that's how I felt when I drove that GT, was exactly the same. I didn't really feel like that GT was, when I put it into sport mode, it was like a world of a difference. Now, for people who live with it on a daily basis, if you're going down like a highway or hitting bumps, you might be able to deal with it. But going 20, 25 miles per hour and just like in a circle, you should be able to feel enough roll to be able to tell the difference between the two. And I can, but it's pretty marginal. I wouldn't say it is life-changing, which is exactly what my problem is with the adaptive dampers. Same thing with the GT, is 9 out of 10 times, I'm gonna take them off and put coilovers anyway. If I want performance, I'm not gonna rely on Subaru to build that for me, especially because I wanna lower the car. I'm going to put sport suspension on it anyway. So the electronic dampers, for me, I still, again, is one of the reasons why I recommend the TR over the TS, is I just don't know if it's worth it. If it's worth it enough for me to pay this much for electronic dampers. Specifically, if you're looking at this car for that purpose, this may not be the best example of it. Now, if you go for something like maybe a Porsche or a BMW or some of these higher end cars that have like the magnetic suspension that changes, massive difference. That actually is a difference. I don't know how this suspension works or how it actually goes from being soft to stiffer, but I don't think it's stiff enough considering the body roll that you still have in this car compared to just lowering it and putting on a set of very deep, like maybe 6K or 8K rate coilovers. All right, so again, like I said, nothing major that I need to do with this when it comes to driving the car. It does feel very similar, close to identical to driving a WRX TR, which already felt fantastic. Now, the Recaro seats, love them. If there's one thing that I could take out of this car and put in my WRX, it would be that. The steering is really nice. You owe it to yourself to go and feel what that feels like, because when it's on comfort, it's very easy to turn. And once you put it into Sport Plus or Sport, you can feel that it has gotten a little bit strong or a little bit stiffer, and that does feel good. Now, is it like an old hydraulic? No, but it's pretty damn close. So that part's really nice. The suspension, I know that really wasn't exactly the best test, but you can ask, if you ask Armin, who was actually sitting to my right, he's the one that would feel it the most because he's not holding on to anything. Now, when he was getting thrown around, when it was on normal and comfort, he was saying that he was able to go a lot left and right, but once we put it on to sport, it does stiffen it up a little bit. The nice thing about it is if you're gonna buy this car and do absolutely zero mods to it whatsoever, and let's say maybe pick up a Cobb access port and maybe just tune it, it's great and ready to go to the autocross. The tires are fantastic, the brakes are great, the suspension is great. You can even enter in pretty much stock. Oh, actually, even if you don't get an access port, you can just enter stock class and do incredibly well if you so wanted to do. And this is great for people who for sure know that they're not gonna modify their car. Now, if you are gonna modify your car, maybe this isn't the best one for you. Maybe you wanna get, again, a used TR, or maybe you wanna just try and find an old base and put everything in on it yourself. So the nice thing is, not all the trims are for everybody, and you have options. Now, of course, it goes without saying, much like the TR that I reviewed before was here at Sunset Hills Subaru in St. Louis. If you're looking for this particular car, you can still buy this here at Sunset Hills Subaru. It's I think it's $47,000. The last TR actually that I did that video on, it was so funny because one of my subscribers here in St. Louis did end up going and buying that car, which was, had I known, I would have been there when he did it, but I didn't work here at the time. What's nice about this is we actually only have one, and it is Royal Rally Blue. It is one thing that I wish that I could change about my car is the change from white to Royal Rally Blue. Anyway, it comes back to the same question that we talked about in the previous video was, is it worth it to buy a 2025 WRX TS, pick up an old WRX TR, go find an old base, or wait for what's happening in 2026? Unfortunately, I can't answer that for you, but what I can do is give you all the information to help you try and make that decision. Is there going to be a new WRX in 2026? It's hard to say. All these teasers keep coming out from Subaru Japan, but I don't believe that new car is going to be something that's going to come to America. If you're looking for the best WRX you can buy with all of the bells and whistles straight from the factory, this is the one. Anyway, guys, hope you found this video informative, hope you found it enjoyable, and I'll see you in the next one.